How's everybody doing? Uh-oh. One of my lights is out. Or wait. Ah, there we go. So how are you guys? Obviously, I'm on the road. You guys can tell. Here is my lovely abode. You guys, look at this. It's April, I don't know, what is it? April 21st? Seriously? Like, come on. Like, really? Entrance, bed, storage, bed / storage, kitchen area. That's probably the only plus side to working on the road with the company that I work with. They put me up in really nice places always, so thankful for that, but nevertheless it's not what I want to do anymore. It just isn't. So I've had a few of you guys been asking me to do a review on the infamous 572 and the infamous Steel 462c. Now, before I get into this, I want to tell you guys something. Sorry about all the camera stuff and woo-ha-wah. I called Team Ripsaw over in Pennsylvania yesterday, and I was talking to them guys because I was looking at getting my 572 ported, and he basically broke it down in a sense that if you have a few hours on your saws, it's not a good idea to port them. It's wiser to port them when they're new. That way, when the rings seat and everything seats, it's seating to the right compression and all, you know. So I totally get it. So that being said, I already have 270cc saws. I'm really thinking about placing an order for a ported 500i, like really bad. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go with the 500i or if I should go with a ported 572. I love that 72. I love the 462 too. We'll get into that in a minute. But I want to see what a 572 ported does because it's a monster stock. So, but I already have 270cc saws, so I'm like, well, why not get an 80cc saw, which is the 500, and or get a 500 and a 572. I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, so let's get into this. So as you guys know, this saw came before this one, but if I have a preference, I don't really. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do. My preference is my Husky. I grew up running them in the woods. I kind of know what they're about. They're very, very torquey, very torquey. When I first got this saw, the very first thing I noticed is that there is nothing that stops it. If you know how to file and you know how to maintain your acres, nothing stops this. It is insane. I had a 25-inch bar buried and it was chewing, and I haven't been able to find anything that big since yet. I will, but not yet. The 462 is very torquey also, but I feel in the hands like the 572 cuts faster. That's really the only noticeable difference. That, see, I haven't had them side by side. One thing I will say is, and this weekend I'll do a video and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, but when this thing idles with authority. When this one idles, this one is kind of like Grandpa's old 76. So he's got ported, polished, cams in, headers, the whole works, sleeper truck, right? That's what this thing idles like, sleeper truck. But it totally blows you away. Now, when I first got this saw before, actually, no, I think it was before I had the full wrap and the double dogs. I had it set up on my tail, or on the box of my pickup, and I was I was grabbing my helmet or something like that. You know, I had the 25 on it at the time, and it fell off my pickup, and it landed like this, bounced, and then landed kind of like on the side. So this thing was 2 weeks old when it happened. I was so bleepity bleeped. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that in there or not, but it cracked this bottom housing just a teeny bit, and it cracked the case, so it was actually leaking on the inside, and it was kind of, you know, it was leaking all over. So this isn't the original tank. I actually had the tank off to take the tank off, but I will tell you one thing with that. Being that this saw was new, it was actually kind of cool to do, because it was kind of cool to get, you know, to get to know the saw. You know what I mean? I had to tear everything apart, and I had the whole thing ripped up. It was pretty cool. But this one with a 25-inch bar is 23 pounds. And to me, I can sling this thing around all day with no troubles at all. It doesn't bother, but that's just me. Everybody's different. This one I have not weighed. No, I take that back. This one with a 25-inch bar is 21. But it doesn't have a full wrap, doesn't have double dogs, doesn't have any of the other stuff. So let's take the hoods off, and I'll show you guys what. See, I got to be careful with this one. Here, let's do this, okay? Clank. So I really like the feedback you guys are giving me on that last video that I posted on the way out here. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate the support and the friendships that are going to come out of this, and just, you know, that was the other thing that happened. One of these broke, and they're, I can't remember, it's like 20 or 30 bucks or something for that little thing, but I can't remember. But anyway, and I do have decompression plugs. I don't do decompression valves. I just don't. And you actually, I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have done studies. You actually can lose up to like half a horse on a saw, which is a lot. So when you take the cover off, now because this is forced air induction, so how Husky has it is there's a channel inside of here, inside the recoil housing, and it channels, I believe. Don't quote me. This is just all what I have heard. And it forces air up, you know, into your air filter. But in the colder months, when it's super, super cold air, they put this little divider in here, which is supposed to not make the air as harsh going into the motor as it, you know, in really cold temps. Anyway, the thing that I really like about this is the air filter. It's screw on. So when you're in really, really rotten wood, or you're just in wood that's just spitting out a lot of fines, you don't have to worry about it getting into the inlet. That I really, really like. I've always liked the way that Husky has had their kill switches set up down, and it returns, obviously, and then you pull it out and up for choke, and then you pull it out, up, and then back down into the run position for fast idle. It's actually surprisingly good on fuel, even running full bore. Bar oil gets about the same. You can it's got an adjustable oiler in there. That's pretty dark here. Hold on. It's got an adjustable oiler in there. Your rim tooth, sprocket, all that good jazz. This saw pulls. This saw, I mean, if you are not paying attention, this saw will pull itself out of your hands, and that's no joke. I am not kidding. When I first ran this thing, I was blown away at the torque that this thing had. This is why I prefer this saw. It is a mean saw. The auto-tune thing seems to be really nice. I've always been one for IntelliCarbs. I've always been one to be able to, I like to adjust my stuff. I like to be the one to do that. not a computer, but I have no qualms about it. It starts and runs the way it's supposed to. It idles fine. You know, when there's a change in temperature or air density or any of that stuff, it seems to calibrate itself quite easy. No issues there. Just the small little issue of I gotta flip this little tab open. You guys probably can't see. I gotta flip that tab down in order to get this clip back on the hood, which is fine. You know, trigger and you push it down, and that is how you start the saw. The saw fires. The saw has to fire and run before you do anything. Once it fires up and it's running, tap the throttle, and then it goes into its idle, and I usually let it idle for 2-3 minutes. One of the biggest things that I hate about this saw, and it's all stills, it is these stupid caps. These stupid caps. You see how they're recessed like that? There's not on here because I blew this saw off before I took it, but there's a bunch of fines and all kinds of crap that can fall in there, and it just, I don't like them. The Husky, on the other hand, these are pretty cool because they're flip up caps just like those, but the nice thing is you see how they sit? Okay, now when you take these off, check this out. This is super cool. You see that little O-ring right there? Especially on the bar oil side, all the fines and all the crap that's trying to get in there doesn't make it. It all comes out on that seal. Run your finger on that seal, wipe that seal off, screw your cap back in, flip it down, bam, good to go. Really, really nice for the bar oil, because I find it, like, you know, when you open this one, I mean, look at that. Look at you got all kinds of real estate for fines and nasty stuff to sit. So I don't like that about still. It's just, that's a personal preference. What I do like is I like this cover. This cover is sweet. They're like cam lock setups, and they've got quite a bit of retention on them. So you take the hood off, and here is what the 462 looks like. Yeah, all the guys that have ran older saws like myself and many of you out there, a little different seeing all them wires in there and whatnot. So they did the air induction thing too, yep, see, there's their funnel deal, that little black spacer right there, and then right there the air shoots up, and you know, yada yada. The one thing that another thing that I don't really care for on this saw is, I'm gonna close this butterfly. I don't like this filter setup, and the reason I don't like this filter setup, obviously, like I said, I clean the saw, but when you run this saw, when you take that filter off, there's a bunch of fines and stuff that are just laying right here, and some of them kind of meet their way up there. But to mitigate that, what I usually do now is when I blow it off, I take petroleum jelly and I run a bunch on that little rim right there, and it solves the problem. But I am going to get a Red Beard unifoam clamp on style filter for this saw. I'm just going to eliminate that altogether. The throttle response on this thing is insane. I mean, like right now, it's snappy, it's torquey, it is fun to cut with. It vibrates quite a bit more than the Husky, though. I did notice this the other day. That's really the first setting that I've had both of these saws out kind of monkeying with. This one definitely vibrates a lot more than that one. And I will add to that, before I ever did this, it still did not vibrate on the hands as much as the still did. I could definitely mitigate it with doing something like that, but I'm going to get a full wrap handle for this, so I still might do that. I have all the stuff with me. Maybe this weekend or something we'll do it. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it and you cut it off. Whoop-de-doo. Then you got something else to do on the weekend when you're just sitting in the hotel doing absolutely nothing because it's crappy outside. Anyway, the saw is a little hungry on gas. This one definitely goes through gas. It pulls a 32-inch, just lovely. Just no issues whatsoever. That would have no issues whatsoever either. I just don't have one for it yet. And the bar that I have, the 32, I would have to do some modifications to get it to fit the Husky. And if I did those modifications, I wouldn't be able to run it on the saw. So I'm just going to get another 32-inch bar and leave that 32-inch bar that I have for this saw specifically. And one of these days this week, I might get a little crazy and throw it on my 60cc 391 that I brought with and play around with it and see how it pulls the 32 and all that other good stuff. The mounts on here are really, they're really durable. The saw is psycho. This saw runs with authority, idles with authority. The throttle response is insane. There is nothing that stops this saw either. The only noticeable big difference that I noticed between these two saws is that saw will pull 20 times harder than this saw. That is like the only comparable difference that I can see. And obviously, as you know, as sawmen, when your saw pulls, you cut wood faster. So if this one pulled like that one pulled, it would cut the same, but it cuts just a tish slower. But that being said, it's not a bad saw at all. It is a mean saw. It's not going anywhere, put it that way. And I'm obviously thinking about adding to the collection. So everything that I basically said and kind of touched on today, you know, I'm obviously favoring the Husky, but I'm really thinking about a ported 500 because I have heard monstrous things about the 500 and it tickles me fancy, let me tell you. I'm sorry about the lighting in here, guys. It's, you know, it's definitely not ideal, and I was gonna do this earlier when I had lighting, and then I got a phone call to go to work. See, we didn't work this morning, and then I got a phone call to come in for a few hours, and we had to dig up some services and do some other boring stuff, and the nice cold 40-mile-an-hour winds, so that was nice. But yeah, so I mean, this is it right here. Just see if I can get that. Oop, hold on. There you go, just like that. I am literally not even going to edit this video. I am just going to upload it, and boom. I'm not cutting, I'm not doing anything with it. You guys are going to see all of the 23 minutes on here. I like the captive nuts thing. That is an awesome design. I wish I would have been able to keep them on here, but thankfully, you know, I've got extra bar nuts, but I thankfully have not lost those. So, and I have, you know, the other clutch cover as a backup too. So they're both amazing saws. This is how I would pick. Are you ready? You see both of them on the table there? That's how I would pick, because I can't pick. I love them both. They're both awesome saws. A lot of it is personal preference. A lot of it is how it feels in the hands. A lot of it is, I'm telling you guys, a lot of how a saw cuts is in the filing. Because if you have a sharp 60cc saw, it would keep up with these. It's not going to cut faster, but I'm saying it would hold its own against these. It's all in the filing. It's all in the filing and how you set your rakers, and hungry rakers aren't always a good thing. I don't like, when I'm falling, I don't like hungry rakers. I barely touch rakers on chains that I have for falling. Firewood chains, Oh yeah, they're hungry all day long. All day long. But that's all they're doing. That's why if there's a small piece of wood down here, and I can't, that's why I can't put the tip of the bar on it and cut it without holding it, because it'll grab that thing and it'll throw it right at me, because my rakers are that hungry. So I mean, there in a nutshell, guys, there is my personal beliefs, feelings, experience, whatever you want to call it, in my fancy light. See, I did some modifications for you guys. I did this for you, okay? Yeah. I did that for you guys, so you guys could see a little better. I hope it worked. I can't really tell on the camera until I get it uploaded and process it and do all that other, ooh, that's tangled, other stuff. But that is it, guys. That is my take on the 572 and the 462. They're both amazing saws. They both have tremendous amounts of power, tremendous amounts of torque, relatively good on fuel. This one's a little hungrier than the Husky, but other than that, they're both amazing saws. They are. You can't go wrong either way. Honestly, you can't. The price is the same, and to be honest with you, the price is going up. I bought this one last fall, and it's $400 more now than it was when I bought that. So I mean, it's just the economy that we're in, you know. China's greedy. That's just the way it is. I don't know, guys. So that's what I got for you guys. I was gonna do this video, like I said earlier, but I had to go and do work stuff, so I didn't get to do that. So now it's in the evening, and I had already made a comment that I was going to do this, and I know there's a couple of guys that have been itching to hear what I have to say. So, and if there's something else that you want me to talk about, or if there's something that you think I missed that you want me to touch on again, throw a comment down there, and I will absolutely do it. Guys, we work half days on Saturdays, and I have all day Sunday. You guys got to give me something to do. Anyway, you guys take it easy. I'll catch you on the next one.